algorithm. Okay, very important algorithm, and also to figure out what it is a priori algorithm. We took an example, all those things we did with regard to this a priori algorithm. Okay, this is what we learnt about with regard to in the previous class called a priori algorithm. Now in a priori algorithm, right, there are few things that we got to keep in mind. What are those few things that to be kept in mind? Okay, first and foremost thing is the disadvantages of it. Algorithm told you very clearly that it came across that you are supposed to do many sets, okay, many frequent item sets every time. What do we mean by every time? After every transaction, you could have seen that you take one at a time, you take group two at a time, you group three at a time, like this we used to do in a priori algorithm. That's one of the biggest disadvantages. The second biggest disadvantages was every time you need to do this, you need to scan the database. Okay, you need to again keep on scanning the database, and scanning database multiple amount of times will be bringing down the efficiency. So the efficiency part of it would be obviously low. Of course, a priori algorithm has advantages and all, but there are these small disadvantages which we came across. Okay, the efficiency will sort of come down because you're supposed to scan the database multiple amount of times. Okay, and of course you are supposed to create what is known as many frequent item sets on. Okay, so this was with regard to the disadvantage of it. To overcome this, okay, to sort of minimize this, or to be honest, to be overcome this, people came across one more algorithm. What is that one more algorithm? So I can see very clearly, okay, there are two algorithms which you're supposed to learn, then any one of it will come. Generally it will be a priori. Okay, majority of the times it will be a priori algorithm only, but again you never know, even this may come, right? Since there are two parts in a question, one part may come in that, other part may come in this. Okay, so what is the other thing that you are going to learn, the other algorithm which you are going to learn? It is known as FP growth algorithm. Okay, it's called what? FP growth algorithm. Now this, what is FP? This is nothing but frequent pattern. Okay, this is nothing but frequent pattern growth algorithm. FP algorithm, also known as frequent pattern growth algorithm. This needs to be sort of studied and all. Okay, what needs to be done in this? What are the things to be kept in mind? Are some things to be very understood. Okay, before we look into the clear-cut examples of whatever that is there in the textbook and all, we obviously know very clearly that we are not going to stop with only one example or two examples. We want to learn in deep, just like our a priori algorithm. So I've taken a very simplest of examples of whatever that is present right from the our net itself. Okay, because it's something that once you go to any if you want to learn FP growth algorithm, what do? Okay, think that you not attended the classes, you don't know much about it, you put it in Google. You put this in Google, the first example, anytime what you get is the example that you're going to see. Okay, it's a very common example, very classic examples with regard to FP growth algorithm. Okay, very simple words only you're going to learn, and majority of it is similar to whatever you said in the previous instances also, that you got to keep in mind. Okay, so let's look into our algorithm of what we were doing it. Okay, FP growth algorithm, why we came across all those things. Okay, see, I've taken right from the machine learning tutorials, but machine learning tutorials, data mining tutorials, everything. Okay, the algorithm remains the same. There's no change in that. Okay, I'm going from a machine learning perspective because it will help you in the 7th semester. Okay, that's very important. Of course, when you want to write it in an exam, I'll be giving you the PPT, you are going to go with it. That's all fine. But I want to go from a machine learning perspective because it will really help you in the next semester. Okay, 7th semester, you have a lab called machine learning and artificial intelligence lab. Only one lab, very important. Okay, only one lab. Your seniors used to have 2 labs. You think about it. They used to have machine learning lab at one end and web lab at one other end. Okay, web lab with mini project they used to have. But you people are studying web now itself. So that would mean that you're going to have only one lab in 7th semester. Is that a good thing? Yes, it's a good thing. because 7th sem should be a semester, for doing things which are not at all done in 6th semester. That's the last, thing that you come across 7th sem. After 8th sem and all, it is never possible. 7th sem also, it's not possible, okay? Unless and until you complete everything in 6th sem, 7th sem is it's going to be more like a revision aspects of it, especially in terms of placements, technical road interviews, okay? Your higher studies, exam, preparing for higher studies exams, all those things. Okay, so hopefully we are thinking and hoping that you people are not wasting your time in home, okay, doing something important for your next future things. Okay, VTU and all you leave, you know how to pass with regard to VTU and all. Okay, it should not be more than tough with regard to taking 2-3 question papers, writing all the internals properly, could easily pass. That's not a thing. 6M should be a time where you sort of go with your plans on. Okay, so let's take this. What is it? We are talking about the what is known as FP growth algorithm. It clearly says the prerequisite says you know about a priori algorithm. Was we will be knowing about a priori algorithm. Okay, then they're saying tree data structures. TRIE is nothing but TREE. Both are same. Okay, you must be knowing what is trees. How do you sort of create trees under? Pretty sure you know it. Okay, because you studied trees in which other places? You studied trees in data structures. You studied trees in DMS. You studied even trees, a little bit of trees or maybe similar to trees, even in a place called DA. Okay, and probably in ATC, maybe you would have, madam would have given examples related to trees when she is explaining certain topics. Okay, so hopefully you know that. Okay, so two things, a priori and tree data structures, and you can see very clearly the two primary drawbacks of a priori algorithm are what? At each step, the candidate sets have to be built. That's what I told you. Okay, 1 item set, 2 item set, 3 item set, like that we need to build. Then the next thing, to build this candidate item sets, what we need to do, the algorithm keep on has to do the scanning of the database multiple amount of times. That is a second disadvantage. Okay, so the two disadvantage, and you got to know what are the two disadvantage. Okay, now to overcome this, okay, to overcome this, we need to figure out what is known as, 1 second, I'll just come back. Okay, sorry, we're back. I think it's because a call from college. Okay, stupid people always call whenever I'm in class with them. Anyway, okay, next let's look into this. Okay, to overcome these two disadvantages, we come across. See, I'm taking an example right from the net before we move into our own PPTs. Okay, because this is more, example that people can sort of relate to. Because it's a very common example. Even in YouTube, if you search FP growth algorithm, you come across this example a lot. Okay, don't so see the ones that is very important. Okay, don't see any ads and all and think that okay, I need to add or KFC and all. Look into what has been sort of given here. That's very important. Okay, so what are the two properties? You got the first drawback of candidate has to be built every time, and also the algorithm has to be repeatedly scan the database. Okay, next, these two properties, what they do, they make the algorithm slower, so efficiency comes down when it comes to a priori. To overcome this, what we do, a new association rule mining algorithm. Be careful with the way I'm sort of holding it. Okay, it's saying new association rule mining algorithm was developed, okay, called frequent pattern FP growth algorithm. FP growth algorithm. What does it do? It will overcome what disadvantage it will overcome? It will overcome the disadvantage of a OPI algorithm by doing what? By storing all the transactions in a tree data structure. So how does it overcome? This may again be a question with regard to, okay, what are the disadvantages of a priori algorithm? Look into the question I'm talking about. What are the disadvantages of a priori algorithm? Okay, and then yeah, what are the disadvantages of an a priori algorithm? How do you overcome it? explain the FP growth algorithm. Look into the question, the way the question is formed. Okay, so first you're going to write the disadvantages of it. Then you're saying how you are overcoming it. You are overcoming it by use of tree data structures. And then what is the explanation of FP growth algorithm? If they ask this, easily come for 10 marks. Okay, this is how you need to form questions. Okay, you need to form questions, and also you need to be able to write the answers for it. Okay, so let's look into this. Okay, consider a key one transaction data. Again, it will start from transaction data only, no change in that. You got all the transaction IDs here. I'll zoom it. Okay, so this is a transaction. How many transactions? 5 transactions. How many items? You got your so many items here. Again, you can very clearly see how the items are sort of arranged very intentionally, not to have any sort of common things, but few things which are common you could always see. Okay, why it is underlined under, you don't worry, because it's underlined because of the things that you're going to see next. Don't worry about now, you just look into the items. The maximum width of transaction. What is the meaning of width? The number of items that are brought in a particular transaction. Look into this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The maximum width is 6. Okay, maximum width is 6 and minimum width is with regard to 1, 2, 3, 4, only 4. So 4 to 6 items it is varying. 4, 5, 6 items generally. Okay, it is varying like that. So this is the thing that you have given. What is the first step? First step remains the same. Whatever you learned in APROE will be done here also. What is the first thing that you are going to do? The first thing you can see very clearly, the above given data is hypothetical data set transaction with each letter representing an item. What's the meaning of hypothetical data set? It means that we have taken that as an example. Okay, not to have any sort of thinking that where is this transaction from and all. No, it is a hypothetical database as an example you have taken. So what is each letter representing? Each letter is representing an item. We know that. Okay, it's common sense. We know that. Okay, the frequency of each individual item is computed. That's the first step. Okay, so when we see we are not going to end it here. We are going to take at least 2 to 3 examples before you learn it fully. Okay, just like your APROE algorithm, 2 to 3 examples we are going to learn in detail. Okay, so what is the first step? The frequency of each individual item is computed. So that's what we do here. We take right from all the items. How many items are there? So many items. Okay, but 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So that's 9 plus 2. So 11 items we have. And the frequency is all computed like this. If the number of items is more, take the minimum support also more, so that you get a nice clear frequency item sets. If you take very less, everything will come. See, when the minimum frequency is 1 and the maximum frequency, if I'm not wrong, is 5 with regard to K. K is coming 5 times. So it's varying from 1 to 5. Okay, so don't take 1 or 2. Almost everything will come. So what he has taken in this example? The first step remains the same. The next thing is let the minimum support be 3. So he has taken a minimum support as 3. This is one of the other disadvantage I was talking about when it comes to APROE algorithm. That the minimum support is sort of either assumed or calculated according to the needs of the retail customer. Okay, retail investor. Okay, so here also we are going to take when it comes to what? Let the minimum support to be 3. Okay, a frequent pattern set. Be careful here. I'm talking about not frequent item set. That is, the wordings need to be clear here. There is no frequent item set here. We are talking about a frequent pattern set is built which will contain all the elements whose frequency is, be careful here, whose frequency is greater than or equal to the minimum support. So we are going to build a pattern now. Okay, not frequent items. We are going to build a pattern now. And what will be there in that pattern? All those whose minimum support is either 3 or more than 3. So which and other things will not be coming? I'll make a list here. Okay, I'll go for another our window and I'll sort of make a list here so that it becomes easy. Okay, so what and all will come, what and all will not come. I'll write it here. Our minimum support is 3, right? So you can see very clearly that if you take this into consideration, What is the first thing that will come? E. E is need to come, very important. You can see very clearly E should come 4, then K, then M, E, K, M. Can I write that now? Write it clearly here. Okay. So what are the ones that are having a minimum support of 3 or more than 3? E, K, M. Okay. Let's go for one more. So you got your E, then you got your K, then M, then again one more. Okay, O and Y. O, Y. Okay, so these things will come. O and Y. How many items are there which is what? The minimum support. I can write it very clearly like this. Minimum support is 3. So this minimum support is either 3 or more than 3. So these are the ones that you get it. E, K, M, O, Y. Okay, equal you can say. Okay, now let's go for the next part. Okay, so once you see this, this is what we got, and this is the next thing what we got. These elements, be careful here, these elements are stored in descending order of their respective frequencies. What's the meaning of descending order? You start from the big order, then to the last order, which you talk from a very big number, then to the smaller number. After insertion of the relevant items, the set L. So you are going to create a set called L. Okay, you are going to create a set called L with these items. If you go for that, this is what it looks like. EKMOY only is there here. Okay, but it is written in a way. What is the way it is written? It is, you can see very clearly. Okay, there is K. Okay, so I'll go here and write it. See, there's K. Why I have written K as first? I'll write one more color. I've written K is equal to 5 because that's having the maximum number of transactions. I told you at the start of this itself. Okay, then the next one. First thing is E is equal to 4. So next thing is E, that is equal to 4. Okay, the next thing. 1 second. Yeah. Then M, O, Y. Both are same. All three are same, not both. Okay. So M is equal to 3. O also is equal to 3. Y is also equal to 3. Now, some people may be thinking, why is not writing Y here? No, I'm just going with the alphabetical order, nothing. Okay. See, M, O, Y. They come in alphabetical order. Now, why? Because they are all having 3. Okay. The frequency is nothing but 3 itself. So I've written like this. You call, what do you call this? This is nothing but I've taken the name as L. Okay. I've taken this as a set as L, and they are all written in an order called as descending order. That you got to keep in mind. Okay, step by step procedures, very important to know this, very important to learn this. Okay, let's go for the next part. See, now this is all done. Let's go for the next one. Okay, now for each transaction, the respective ordered item set is built. For each transaction I'm talking. It is done by doing what? By iterating the frequent pattern item set and checking if the current item is contained in the transaction in question. Okay. If the current item set is contained, the item is inserted in the order. If the current item set is contained, the item is inserted in the ordered item set. Okay. For the current transaction. Okay, so if you do this, now people may not be sort of understanding this. Okay, it looks very simple, sort of confused and all. Don't worry. We are going to look into what is going to come next. Probably you'll be able to understand what it is. Look into this. This one, you see this transaction of EKMNOY. EKMNOY. Okay, look into this. EKMNOY. It's coming through same. Yes. Now this is what we built. The second one is what we built. Ordered item set is what we built. Okay, fine. If you have built it, then it's all fine. But when you are building it, are we building it everything? No. See, we got E, K, M, and O, right? Okay, I'll take an example here. This was a transaction that was there, original transactions. Okay, original things E, K, M, N. What was it next? Okay, E, K, M, and O, Y. Okay, look into this O, Y. In this, the ones that are very, very needed, okay, I'm just going to highlight here itself. The one that are very needed, okay, are E, K, M, O, Y. So can write that. So E, K, M, O, Y. These are what? You can see very clearly here. Okay, E, K, M, O, Y. Now I have written the same thing. I have written the same thing. Yes, E, K, M, O, Y only. But I have written K first. Why? You can very clearly see that I've written K first because K is having how much order? K is having 5. Okay, so I have to write it in form of descending order only. So my order item sets, when I write it back, will be become what? K, E, see this? K, E. Then, of course, whatever the order I've taken right here. Okay, so M, O, Y. K, E, M, O, Y. What about N? N is not making it. N is not making into the ordered set because of its very, very less frequency. Okay, see this? It's not making into the thing called ordered item set here. Have I done the same thing right here? K, E, M, O, Y. Look. Let's take one more example. D, E, K, N, O, Y. Again, same old thing. Okay, you are going to look into K, E. Okay, always one more example I'll show here. It's okay. D, K, N, O, Y. Right. So I'll write the same thing. Well, what is it? D, K. What is the other thing that you have? D, K. You add then N, O, Y. Okay, fine. So N, O, Y again. Again, you need to sort of highlight the ones that are there here. Where is K? Is there K? Yes. Is there E? Yes. Is E? Where is M? Is there M? No, there's no M. Okay. In this transaction, there is no M means you don't have to worry. Okay. Then O. Is there O? Is there Y? Yes. Okay. Then see, I'll tell you, what is the way of writing it. First, you write like this. K, E, M, O, Y. Okay, because that's the one that's supposed to have it. Then you need to see very clearly that K is there, yes. E is there, yes. M is not there. O is there. Y is already there. K, E, O, Y. K, E, O, Y. Okay. Now, where is it? Look into this. K, E, O, Y. To the next thing for other one, A, E, K, M. I'll write it for other one also. So A, E, K, M. I'll take one second. Yeah, it's moving right. Now you can see I'll take the A, E, K, M is my original transaction. Okay. What is the next thing I do? I go for this. Or else I'll write it like this first itself. First I'll write and then I'll check whether it is there or not. Okay. K, E, M, O, Y because that's what we got here. And next the next thing is you need to figure out whether there are things are there. Okay. First, is E there? Yes. Is K there? Yes. Okay. What about M? Is there M? Yes. Then OY, is there OY? No. So what do you think this will happen? K, E, M, and what about this? Not at all there. Okay, not at all there. So this is my original transaction. Then this is my ordered set transaction. When I do that, look into this. This is my original transaction and this is my ordered set transaction. Did I get that KEM? Yes. Like this, I've done for all transaction. Now you look into these wordings. Now for each transaction, the respective ordered item set is built. Okay. It is done by iterating the frequent pattern set and checking if the current item set is contained in the transaction. Is that what we did? Yes. Okay. The current item is, if it is contained, what do you do? The item is inserted in the ordered item set for the current transaction. Okay. So that is what we have done, and this is what we got. The ordered item set. Nicely we got. Okay. So ordered item set for transaction number 1 is 5. You can see the number is nothing but 5, then 4, then 3, then 3, then again 3. This is what you got. Okay. This is what you got. Next. What is the next thing? The next thing. Okay. Now all the ordered item sets are inserted into the tree data structure. So what is the all order? All those ordered item sets. You got KEMOY. Okay. inserting the set KEMOY. Then once you do that, okay, see this ordered item sets are inserted into a tree data structure KEMOY. If I do that, okay, so what is the way of writing it? Okay, you can see this here. All the items are simply linked one after other in order of their occurrence in the set and initialize the support count of each item to 1. So KEMOY, I'm writing it and I'm initializing everything to 1. Okay, I'm initializing everything to what? 1. That's very important for you to know. Okay, don't forget these things. It's very simplest of things what I'm trying to do. Okay, I've written all those things. KEMOY. Why KEMOY? Because of the descending order thing. Now I've written the same order. Then I've initialized everything to what? Equal to 1. Clearly I've initialized everything equal to 1. Fine. Okay, next. Inserting the item set KEOY. What is this KEOY? Look into this. Okay, look into this. I need to sort of initialize that. Okay, KEOY. I'm trying to do that. The first one you can see, the first one is KEMOY. I've done that. Look into this KEMOY. Now the next thing, inserting the next second one KEOY. Till the insertion of the elements KE, simply the support count is increased by 1. Okay, KEOY. So what I'm trying to do here, okay, wherever I have the next part, KEOY is what I need to increase now. There's already 1111 everywhere here. Now I need to, insert KEOY. So if I, sort of insert into this, what is going to happen for K? It will become 2. What is going to happen for E? It will again become 2. Okay. What happens with regard to M? M, you can see very clearly, M will remain the same. It will not change because there is no M right here. O, of course, you are going to insert it. See this? You're going to insert it and you're going to get it 1 and all. Why I have written like this? We are going to see. Okay, later. Y equal to 1. So we are going to insert one more. So Y is equal to 1. Okay. So this is what we are going to do. And be careful here. We are going to, and I told you that we are going to write it in form of a tree data structure or in trees. Okay, very important for you to know. Okay, still the insertion of the elements K and E, simply the support count is increased by 1. On inserting O, we can see that there is no direct link between E and O. E and O, there is no direct link. Yes, of course. K is here, E is here, M is coming in between. O is, there is no link here. For the second transaction, there is no direct link. Be careful with this line. No direct link, okay, between E and O. Therefore, a new node for item 0 is initialized. That is what you can see. A new node for item 0 is initialized. That is what you see right here. And now I'm initializing from E to O because see this. See, KEOY is only I'm supposed to take. You can see very clearly M is coming in between. Okay, M is coming in between. I need to join E with O. I can't take M because M was there in the first transaction. So what I'll do is I'll put it right to O here. I'll take a new thing. That's what you see here. A new node for 0 is initialized with support count as 1 and E is linked to this node. Okay. And on inserting Y, we need to first initialize a new node for Y. Why? Because you can't initialize to here itself. This Y is different, this Y is different. So you need to again go with regard to same old way. Okay. A new node for item Y is with the support count as 1 and the new node O is linked with Y. That's what I have done here. This is for the second one. So you get a tree which is like very, sort of complex mixed on all. Okay, this is with regard to second one. Then the third one will come KEM. Okay, like this is going to, sorry, 10:30. We'll try to at least one more. Okay, we'll do one more. 5 minutes. Okay, then I'll probably end it. Okay, anyway, we're going to see it tomorrow also, day after tomorrow. Lots of things. At least 2-3 sessions we are going to look. This is very important for your ML. Okay, uh, there's a subject called MLA. Okay, I'm talking about from ML perspective. AI is bit too complex. Okay, that's anyway. VT is only going to give you the theory part of it. Okay, if you want to learn AI and all, you need to be very good when it comes to ML. A lot of when it comes math, statistics, all those things and all. Then AI is somewhat okay. Otherwise, what happens is you are going to learn only the basics of it, like what you do in the video aspect of it, and it will not be a nice part. Okay. Now you can see this inserting the item KEM. If I am trying to do that, okay, see K is already 2. Okay, now it will become what? It will become 3. No doubt in that. Okay. Now you can see next thing is E. E needs to be implemented or need to be incremented. So what are you going to do? E is going to become 3. You can see very clearly 2 and 2 became 3 and 3. Then you're going to implement M. So you can see this K, E, M all are in same order. So M now will become 2. Is there any other change? No. Okay. There's no other change. K3, same thing is coming. Now the next part. Inserting the next one is KMY. Okay. KMY means what is going to true now? Again, K will become what? K will be obviously becoming 4. No doubt in that. Then with regard to M, see this, be careful now. K and M they are talking about. K and M. See K and M, in between there is a E. Okay, in between there is a E. There is no direct link between K and M. There is no link between K and M. So what are you going to do? You are going to create a new node with regard to M. And that's what you can see very clearly that's been done here. You are going to create a new node M with count as 1 and you are going to link K with it. Okay, you are going to link the K with it. Then there is one more thing called Y. But again, be careful there. Between M and Y, there is no direct connection. See, M and Y, there is no direct connection. In between, O is coming. So what are you going to do? You are going to create one more node for Y. See, one more node for Y, and you are going to link that with M. Be careful. See, I am going to link that with M. This is how you do it. So nice, right? I mean, it's more like, okay, you're going to do the mathematical part of it and also the graphical part of it. Okay, mathematical graphical means there's always this, something to the mind that you do something creative on. Okay, anyway, that's, with regard to the next one. Next, you're going to talk about KEO. See, when you get K, it's very easy. I'm just going to increment K. So 4 will become 5. See, 4 will become 5. Then E, I need to increment E. So E is already directly connected to this. E will become 4 now. E will become 4. You can see very clearly. Then O. O is that directly connected? Now look into this. Is that directly connected to O? No. M is coming in between. Okay. M is coming in between. So what we are going to do? We are going to create one more thing with regard to O. So this will become 2 now. Okay. This will become 2 now because you can see very clearly E and O, they are connected here. They are connected here. So there's no need to create one more node. E and O, they're already connected like this. So you can implement O here. So that's what they've written very clearly here. Okay. Imply the support count of the respective elements are increased. Note that the support count of the new node item is also increased. See, there was 1 here. Now it has become 2 because there was O right here. Okay, then the next part. Now for each item, okay, that we are going to do it tomorrow. Okay, see now you see this, the tree is all done. Till where? Till KEO. Did we get till up to all the things? Have we done everything? Look into this. Have we done till everything? So what was the last item? KEO. Have we done till there? Yes. All 5 things we have done. We started with here, we came up to right here, KEO. Okay. Then of course there is a second part of this algorithm. Okay, what is the second part under? Probably you are going to see tomorrow's class. Okay, I hope you sort of understood the entire thing. This is very easy. Okay, it's easier than, okay, it's all about writing like this graphs and all. I mean trees. Okay, but it's better, easier than your A-priori algorithm. Okay, till here probably you are, where is it? Yeah, till here probably you will be able to understand neatly. Then the later part, the second part of the algorithm is going to come tomorrow. Okay, then we are going to take one more example. Then probably we'll take one more example. 3 examples we'll look into it. then by that time probably you would be fully understood with this concept. Okay, then of course there will be a last part of this model which you're going to see later part.